વાઇબ્રન્ટ ગુજરાત 2017 અંતર્ગત ગાંધીનગરના મહાત્મા મંદિરના મુખ્ય હોલ ખાતે જીએસટી પર સેમિનાર યોજાયો હતો. આ સેમિનારનો મુખ્ય વિષય હતો જીએસટી ગેમ ચેન્જ ફોર ધ ઇન્ડિયન ઇકોનોમી. આ કાર્યક્રમમાં ભારત સરકારના નાણામંત્રી શ્રી અરુણ જેટલી, ગુજરાત રાજ્યના મુખ્યમંત્રી શ્રી વિજયભાઈ રૂપાણી, નાયબ મુખ્યમંત્રી શ્રી નીતિનભાઈ પટેલ તેમજ ગુજરાત રાજ્યના ચીફ સેક્રેટરી ડોક્ટર જે.એન. સિંઘ અને ભારત સરકારના નાણાં વિભાગના રેવન્યુ સેક્રેટરી ડોક્ટર હસમુખ અઢિયા સાહેબ અને ઓસ્ટ્રેલિયાના પ્રોફેસર એલાન ફેલ્સ તેમજ અનિલ મુકીમ હાજર રહ્યા હતા. આ પ્રસંગે નાણામંત્રીએ વાઇબ્રન્ટ ગુજરાત લો બુક 2017 પુસ્તકનું વિમોચન કર્યું હતું. આ પ્રસંગે તમામ વક્તાઓએ જીએસટી પર પોતાના વિચારો રજૂ કર્યા હતા. આવો તે સાંભળીએ.
The US-India Business Council has termed the passage of GST bill as a game changer, saying that it is a significant milestone in the effort to improve the country's ranking in the World Bank's ease of doing business. GST will boost economic growth by streamlining domestic supply chains and removing the compliance burden of varied state tax regimes. This is bound to increase India's global competitiveness as an investment destination. GST will have a far-reaching impact on almost all the aspects of business operations in the country. For instance, pricing of products and services, supply chain optimization, accounting, and the tax compliance system. The basic philosophy behind GST is to expand the tax base and not to enhance the tax burden on business or consumers. The proposed draft of the model GST law considered by the GST Council captures this principle, and therefore any person with an aggregate turnover of less than 20 lakhs has been kept out of the ambit. As far as traders are concerned, the introduction of GST is a welcome step for them, as they are likely to have access to a single uniform market across the country with improved ease of doing business. It could potentially make sourcing, destination, and warehousing of goods easier and faster between states. Also, as companies, all the pan-Indian companies will no longer need to pay interstate taxes. The implementation of GST will free up capital that they can now use in the business. The overall impact of increased taxes in the case of services, if any, may be reduced to the extent considering the enhanced ability to claim tax credit. For instance, the present regime restricts a service provider to claim credit for VAT or CST on locally procured goods and a special additional duty on imported goods. All these taxes would now be subsumed under GST, and input GST would be available as a set-off against output GST liability of the service providers. As GST eliminates most other forms of indirect taxing, the tax burden on the final consumer is expected to come down substantially in most cases. Lower prices will help in boosting consumption and demand, which in turn will be beneficial to trade and commerce. The biggest positive of this transition is that goods and services will be taxed on common basis.
GST is indeed a game changer for Indian industry. It is truly potentially transformative in the way in which industry operates, in its ability to operate without a cascading of taxes, and to greatly ease the ability to do business around the country. Decisions on where to locate plants and warehouses can be made on purely economic grounds instead of on the basis of tax arbitrage. We particularly appreciate in industry the role that our finance minister has played in steering GST so successfully to date. Bringing about a political consensus in our country is no mean achievement. And when the GST bill passed, the amendment passed with complete cross-party support. The second point is the importance of seeing GST come through in the form in which it is intended. It is meant to create a single market which is completely transparent in the country, and for it to achieve that objective, we feel in industry that two things need to be addressed. First, there needs to be a single basis of assessment and inspection. There can't be multiple bases of inspection and assessments that run across states, that are different in each state, that are different between the center and the states. So a single basis of registration, assessment, even if the registrations are different, a single basis of assessment and inspections. Second, using the invoice value as the only basis for the valuation of goods. This will create transparency. It will provide a complete elimination of all discretion that would otherwise need to apply in how goods must be valued. There are two provisions the third point is that there are two provisions in the current draft of the GST law which raises concern for industry.
GST will indeed become a very simple and less burdensome tax for most of the people in the country, be it manufacturers or be it traders. Simple tax, simple, single compliance procedure. It will become very, very simple for people to pay taxes. The entire procedure, right from registration to filing of return and payment of taxes, is very, very simple. The second point is that some people are confused about the term that we use, CGST, SGST, IGST. Some people think there are three taxes which are to be paid. Certainly not. It's a single tax called GST which is to be paid. The nomenclature SGST and CGST are internal to us. It basically indicates that what portion of the tax will go to the state and what portion of the tax will go to the center. The term IGST, Interstate Goods and Services Tax, IGST, people think that is another additional tax. No, it is not. Whenever there is an interstate movement of goods, one pays IGST, which is not a permanent tax. It is not a kind of a real tax. It is a fictitious tax. You pay an interim tax of IGST, which is subsequently washed out because you can take credit of IGST for the payment of GST. Whenever the final liability of GST is ascertained, the payment of that liability can be made either by actual payment or by taking the credit of IGST and any other tax that you have in your account. So IGST is not a separate tax, so please remember that. The third thing that I wanted to point out was that what exactly will be the procedure for payment of taxes and how simple it will be. A lot of people are talking about the complexities involved in payment of IGST. It's very, very simple. But it is revolutionary. Why it is revolutionary is that under the GST system of taxation, no dealer will be able to evade taxes. It is something which is so pressing, nobody can avoid payment of taxes because in the entire chain, everybody is connected to everybody else. And so it is not possible to avoid the tax.
Australia introduced a 10% tax, uniform. States could not levy an additional tax. Food was exempted. High excise taxes were retained on fuel, alcohol and tobacco. Like India, we replaced many, many indirect taxes with one uniform tax. There was, however, one big difference. The tax revenue was also used to bring about a very big cut in direct income tax. Accordingly, As far as indirect taxes were concerned, it was not revenue neutral. Rather, there was approximately 3% price rise in goods and services taxes in general.
जीएसटी बहुत दिनों से भारत के व्यापारी, भारत के इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट सबकी एक सपना है, आकांक्षा भी है। 2000 में माननीय अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी ने ये जीएसटी का प्रारंभ अपने देश में जीएसटी लाने की उन्होंने शुरुआत की, लेकिन पिछले कई सालों से वो हम उसका अमलवारी के लिए पॉलिटिकल विल के साथ हम काम नहीं कर सकते थे। लेकिन जब नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी प्राइम मिनिस्टर बने, जेटली जी वित्त मंत्री बने, तो पॉलिटिकल विल के साथ इस देश में वन टैक्स, वन नेशन वन टैक्स, और इसके आधार पर हमारी इंडस्ट्रीज, बिजनेस, उसमें सरलीकरण और लोगों को भी क्लियरिटी के साथ टैक्स सिस्टम का सबको पता चले। और मैं मानता हूं कि जीएसटी आने से एक हमारे जीडीपी में भी अच्छा लाभ मिलेगा। गुजरात उसके लिए तैयार है और गुजरात ने सब तैयारियां कर रखी है। और मुझे खुशी इस बात की है कि जीएसटी काउंसिल की जब मीटिंग चलती है और आदरणीय जेटली जी के मार्गदर्शन से आज तक इस देश में जितनी भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टियां हैं, अलग अलग राज्य में अलग अलग पॉलिटिकल पार्टियां रूलिंग कर रही है, अलग अलग राज्य की अपनी समस्या है, फिर भी आज तक जीएसटी काउंसिल में वोटिंग नहीं हुआ है सम्मति के साथ, और पूरे देश एक चर्चा विचारणा करते हुए विदाउट डिस्प्यूट आज तक जितने भी निर्णय हुए हैं, और मुझे आशा भी है कि पूरा जीएसटी का जो ढांचा बनेगा वो पूरा सर्वसम्मति से केंद्र और राज्य के बीच कोई तनाव न हो और केंद्र और राज्य के बीच अच्छी तरह से समझौता के साथ ये जीएसटी हम इस देश में उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन करेंगे। जब जीएसटी बिल संसद में पारित किया, उस वक्त प्रधानमंत्री ने जो बात बताई थी कि 29 राज्यों और 90 पॉलिटिकल पार्टियां, इसके साथ चर्चा के बाद ये जीएसटी आज यहां खड़ा है। ये भारत की परंपराओं का विजय है, ये सभी पॉलिटिकल पार्टियों का भी आम विजय है। जीएसटी की नई परिभाषा देते हुए मोदी जी ने बताया कि जीएसटी का मतलब है ग्रेट स्टेप टूवर्ड ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, ग्रेट स्टेप टूवर्ड्स ट्रांसपेरेंसी, ग्रेट स्टेप बाय टीम इंडिया।
हम सब चाहते हैं कि हमारा देश बहुत तेजी से आगे बढ़े, हमारे देश में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा रोजगारी प्राप्त हो। रोजगारी प्राप्त करने के लिए देश का और फॉरेन का ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट हमारे देश में आए और पूरा देश इस प्रकार की तरक्की करे कि अपनी जो 125 करोड़ की आबादी वाला दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा डेमोक्रेटिक जो देश है वो आर्थिक महासत्ता में भी गिना जाए। इस प्रकार का काम करने के लिए प्रधानमंत्री जी जो पूरी दुनिया को साथ में लेके भारत को आगे ले जाने के लिए जो काम कर रहे हैं, इसमें हमारा ये जीएसटी कानून भी बहुत उपयोगी होने वाला है। हम सब जानते हैं कि अभी तक सभी राज्यों में अपने अपने प्रकार के टैक्स की जो व्यवस्था थी, हर एक चीज वस्तु पर हर एक राज्य सरकार अपने मुखातिब टैक्स रख सकती थी। और कल जैसे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी बताया कि इसके कारण राज्यों के बीच कंपटीशन होती थी। एक राज्य थोड़ा टैक्स कम करे अपना बिजनेस बढ़ाने के लिए, अपना यहाँ डेवलपमेंट करने के लिए, इन्वेस्टमेंट लाने के लिए, तो तुरंत ही दूसरे राज्यों को भी उसका अनुकरण करना पड़ता था। और इस प्रकार की हरीफाई से, कंपटीशन से राज्य सरकारों की इनकम कम होती थी और उसका लाभ भी ज़्यादा चाहिए इतना नहीं मिलता था। तो वो कम करने के लिए या बिल्कुल बंद करने के लिए कई समय से वैल्यू एडिशन टैक्स में भी ये प्रावधान किया गया था कि सरकारें कंपटीशन नहीं करेगी, टैक्स कटौती नहीं करेगी और जो भी टैक्स होगा पूरे देश में सभी चीज़ों पर एक तरह का रहेगा। लेकिन किसी न किसी कारण से ये हो न सका। अब जब हम ये जीएसटी कानून बनाने के लिए उसको पास पार्लियामेंट ने जब कर दिया है, तो हमारी जीएसटी जो काउंसिल है, जिसके अध्यक्ष माननीय अरुण जेटली जी अपने वित्त मंत्री जी है और पूरे देश के सभी राज्यों के फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर उसके मेंबर है। आप जानते हो कि हमारे देश में कोई एक कानून पसार करना सिर्फ लोकसभा में ही कितना दिक्कत वाला होता है, तो ये तो इतना पूरा देश अपना कि सभी राज्यों में अलग अलग पार्टी की सरकार हो, अलग अलग विचार वाली सरकार हो, उन सबको साथ में लेके ये कानून को पास करना, एक एक क्लोज को पास करना, ये कोई छोटी बात नहीं है।
Today, branded as vibrant Gujarat, but unquestionably it has become the foremost economic conclave to be held in India. It showcases both the Indian economy and the progress of Gujarat. We last met here in 2015 for the 7th Vibrant Gujarat. And at that time, the government was in the process of implementing several incremental reforms. If we look back at 2014 and the few years before that, and compare it with the vibrancy we saw from this dais yesterday, we can make out the huge difference which has taken place in India. Not very long ago, just about 3 years ago, India was considered to be globally a part of the fragile five. And it's now absolutely clear that in order to rebuild the economy, you not only need bold decisions, you need courageous decisions, and you need to have a stamina also to overcome transient criticism of decisions which comes. If you lack in either of these qualities, then you can give routine governance, but never leave your footprints behind. And of course, we saw a series of initial changes. Some of them were low-hanging fruit, and some were obviously directional in nature. Indian economy got opened up significantly. And while we were opening up, in sector after sector, it became clear that India and Indians had become increasingly aspirational. And therefore, most of these decisions, let alone faced no resistance, quite to the contrary, they enjoyed popular support. a new India had emerged, and which is evident from the fact that while the world is moving slowly today, and you hear voices of protectionism in developed world, the debate over protectionism is hardly heard in India. And that's an indication of how aspirational, open, and progress-oriented Indian public opinion is increasingly becoming. People expected transparency. So one of the emphases of the government and the Honorable Prime Minister was that discretions had to be eliminated. And I think time had now come to clean up the table and take several important decisions, each one of them, if you link it with one another, added to the strength of the Indian economy. And I think the year 2016, which has just ended, became extremely important for that purpose. For how many years have we debated that our monetary policy must be decided by a committee? We implemented the law, we've amended it, implemented it, it's now in execution. India did not have an adequate exit law. And therefore, the speed at which we enacted and had it approved and set up the institutions under the insolvency and the bankruptcy law, the whole exercise got completed within the calendar year last year. Since 1996, we had been repeatedly negotiating and renegotiating all the treaties, the double taxation avoidance treaties with countries, which in effect were facilitating round-tripping of money. And during the last calendar years, we renegotiated and rewrote the Mauritius Treaty, the Cyprus Treaty, the Singapore Treaty, which was a part of the government's larger desire that the shadow economy should not be allowed to prosper. It took a considerable amount of effort to build up consensus to pass the constitutional amendment on the goods and services tax, which we were successful in passing it in Parliament. After every budget, you heard academic debates about rationalization of subsidies. For decades, not a single step had been taken in that direction. Last year saw the Aadhaar law being passed, being implemented, and significant steps in many areas using the facility of unique identity to rationalize subsidies, effect considerable savings, and target the benefits only towards those for whom the benefits were conceived.